Do not move. Let the shadow touch first.
With a gesture, Julian indicated a narrow door concealed behind a heavy portiere, leading to the theater's most unexpected sanctuary, an ancient winter garden wedged between stone walls and a glass dome shrouded in the nocturnal mist of Venice. Here, far from the dusty wings, the air was heavy and humid, steeped in the intoxicating fragrance of blooming jasmine and rare exotic plants whose broad leaves glistened with dew in the cold moonlight. At the center of this hidden conservatory stood a small marble table. Upon a silver platter lay dark figs, halved to reveal their richness, beside a pair of heavy crystal chalices filled with wine of a thick, ruby hue. Obeying a silent sign from the shadows, Anna took a seat on the edge of a stone bench, feeling the chill of the marble contrast with the heat that spread ever more fervently through her veins. She took a slice of fig, sensing its honeyed sweetness and grainy texture, and at that moment, she noticed Julian's shadow fall across the table, stripping her of the last vestiges of her composure. The piquancy of the moment reached its zenith when a drop of transparent juice strayed from her lips and slowly traced a damp path down her chin, coming to rest in the hollow at the base of her throat. Anna froze, not daring to move, as Julian's hand emerged from the gloom, encased in the flawless black kidskin of a glove as soft as a rose petal. With a slow, almost hypnotic motion, he touched her skin, wiping away the damp trail with the tip of his finger. This fleeting contact resonated through Anna's body like a powerful electric charge, causing her breath to falter completely. Julian was in no hurry to withdraw his hand. His fingers slid slightly higher, tracing the line of her jaw with such cautious authority that it felt more intimate than the deepest kiss. The taste of the wine on her tongue, tart and spicy, mingled with the scent of his cologne, a blend of cold sandalwood and warm musk, creating an intoxicating cocktail that sapped her will and left her with but one desire: that this night, filled with forbidden tastes and accidental touches, might never end. The distant tolling of bells from St. Mark's Square heralded the hour when all masks should be cast aside. But within the walls of Fenice Oscura, the game was only entering its most perilous phase. Julian drew Anna back into the main hall, where the stage was now bathed in a spectral, silvery blue light, reminiscent of the moon's radiance over the lagoon. He did not offer his hand, yet his movement, a barely perceptible inclination of the head and an inviting gesture, was imbued with such magnetic force that Anna followed him as if led by an invisible thread. As they reached the very center of the wooden floorboards, he broke the distance he himself had established for the first time, closing the space between them to mere centimeters. In this daunting proximity, Anna could hear the rustle of his breath and see his pupils dilate within the slits of his mask, reflecting her own turmoil and feverish thirst. No music played in the material world, but the rhythm of their hearts, beating in unison, created that unseen melody to which his hands finally came to rest upon her waist, drawing her toward him with commanding, undeniable certainty. It was a dance of shadows and pulsing passion, devoid of conventional steps or rehearsed paces, where every movement was dictated by pure instinct and the electrified attraction of two bodies. Julian led her with frightening ease, causing Anna to literally hover above the old stage planks, while her fingers, sinking into the heavy velvet of his doublet, sought purchase and found only the heat of his powerful frame. She felt his thigh brush against hers through layers of fabric, felt his palm, having shifted slightly higher up her back, force her to arch toward him like a taut violin string, ready to snap from the unbearable tension. In this silent whirling, the world around them ceased to exist. All that remained was the scent of his skin, the glint of gilded moldings high above, and that crushing sense of possession Julian projected with every gesture. As the dance slowed and he pressed her to him so tightly that she could feel every button on his waistcoat, Anna realized the point of no return had been crossed, and the next chapter of their encounter would unfold where all decorum ends and true obsession begins. Julian slowly drew Anna away from the stage, leading her up a spiral staircase hidden behind velvet draperies to the deepest shadows of the theater, where his private sanctum lay, a box securely shielded from prying eyes. Here, a heavy twilight reigned, broken only by the crimson glow of embers in a small fireplace, which cast dancing shadows upon the walls, transforming the room into something akin to a living, pulsing organism. The air was even denser here, saturated with the scent of fine leather, aged cognac, and that same musky perfume that had now become Anna's sole compass in the world of the senses. Julian gently, yet undeniably, nudged her toward a deep sofa upholstered in forest green satin. There was as much care in the gesture as there was commanding desire. As she sank onto the cool fabric, he finally leaned over her, eclipsing the meager light, and Anna felt her will dissolve entirely in his presence, leaving only a naked thirst for a closeness that could no longer be restrained. The peak of their passion arrived in that very silence they had so carefully preserved throughout the night, rendering every movement an eloquent confession. Julian's hands, still encased in soft gloves, slowly and deliberately explored the boundaries of her body, tracing the curves of her shoulders and waist with such meticulousness it seemed as though he sought to memorize her through the skin of his palms. Every touch sent a tremor through Anna that began in her very heart and rippled outward in waves, forcing her to arch her head back and surrender her neck to his heated breath. The contrast between his strength and her perceived fragility vanished in that moment, replaced by the primal chemistry of two souls who had found one another in a labyrinth of shadows. When his lips pressed momentarily against the pulsing vein at her wrist, Anna felt the tension accumulated over long hours explode within her like a blinding flash, turning their silent union into a triumph of sensuality over reason. In this box, which had become the center of the private universe, there was no longer a master or a muse, only two beings burning in the fire of a mutual and absolute voluntary captivity. The first rays of sunlight, piercing through the morning mist of Venice, found Anna at the moment she slowly stepped out from the heavy theater doors, inhaling the cool, salty air of the lagoon. The night spent within La Fenice Oscura felt now like a fever dream, woven of velvet and suggestion. Yet the pulse in her fingertips and the faint scent of sandalwood upon her skin served as reminders that it had all been real. At the quay, a gondola draped in black fur awaited her. The gondolier, in his traditional hat, stood as motionless as a stone statue, silently gesturing toward her seat in the vessel. Upon the soft cushion, Anna discovered a small parcel. Inside lay that very silk ribbon from the first chapter, and a tiny vial of jasmine oil, accompanied by an unsigned note. The instrument is tuned. Now you are ready to be heard. She pressed the gift to her chest, feeling a new, daunting, and potent strength take root within her, displacing her former fear and uncertainty, a power that could no longer be hidden behind a mask of modesty. The gondola glided smoothly across the mirrored surface of the Grand Canal, past palaces whose facades were just beginning to be tinted with the soft pink hues of dawn. Anna turned back and saw, in one of the upper story windows of the theater, a tall male figure whose stillness betrayed his hidden watch over her departure. Julian did not wave, nor did he attempt to stop her. He simply remained there, her shadow and her patron, confined within his gilded labyrinth until the next night. As the theater finally vanished behind a bend in the canal, Anna closed her eyes, letting the wind brush against her face, and for the first time in a long while, she felt truly free. She knew her life would never return to its former course, for in the silence of that derelict hall, she had found not only a patron, but herself, a woman capable of great passion and of an art that knew no boundaries. The city was waking, filling with noise and bustle, but within her, that same shadow chord continued to resonate, marking the beginning of her new, authentic story.